Hello and welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling Channel. I'm Stuart Scott. I'm joined by Dan over here. You know what? I hardly ever get that bit right, but this time I do, and it's my name I mess up. I'm Scott with Dan, and down there is Mr. Roberto himself, and we are here to talk about the 2023 Royal Rumble. It's going to be a good one, guys, so stay tuned right after this.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling Channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
All right, guys. So as I said, we are here to talk about the 2023 Royal Rumble, and it's a long time coming. We were supposed to do this a few days ago, so apologies for anyone that tried to tune in then. But we appreciate those that have joined up now, whether live or on demand. Thank you very much. We're full of Dans. Not only have we got our Dan back, Rob, right? We got the comments are all Dan's as well. We got Daniel Wiley saying, "Hey guys," Daniel Stevens as well. "Hey guys, how is everyone?" We're good. Daniel Stevens this time. Daniel Wiley. He's good, bro. What about you? Okay, everybody's good. Everybody's happy. Everybody's a Dan. Here we go. Back to that in mind, though. Like I said, we've got our Dan back. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good, man. It seems like it's a Dan. Like kicking. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm good, man. Been a bit of a while actually since we've managed to make one of these work. So
yeah, and of course, sadly, we still don't have Lucas with us today, but what we do have are his videos, so that's going to be good as well. A few extra comments here as well. We've got Richard Roble says hoping for Cody and Carmella to win both sides of the Rumble matches.
Oh,
nice pick. I haven't heard anyone mention Carmella for a while, and that's a good point. She could be coming back. Who knows? Daniel says, "Are you crazy?" Not a fan of Carmella, it seems. And maybe Naomi, Daniel thinks. You never know. Could be coming back as well. Wilbert Ray says, John Cena 23 to 24. Not quite sure what you're saying there, Wilbert, but clarify that if you could, buddy. But thank you all for joining us either way. It's going to be a fun one. Like I said, we're going to be going into our predictions for the Royal Rumble matches, of course, but also for the rest of the card as well. Someone call it the undercard. But within that undercard, we're going to have a Universal WWE Heavyweight Championship match, whatever they're calling that title as well. And I think that's probably a good way to start, guys. We'll start with a world title, and then we'll move on to the other kind of undercard matches, and we'll finish it off with a big, fat, juicy Royal Rumble, or maybe two. Who knows? Of course, we're going to be doing the men's and the women Rumble. So keep your predictions coming in, guys. Richard Roble says Mela versus Bianca for Mania, and Cody versus Roman. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be into the idea of Cody and Roman. Mela Bianca's an interesting one, I've got to say. So we'll get into our thoughts on that as we go throughout the stream here. But of course, what we're going to do, like I said, Lucas isn't with us, but he's with us in spirit. So first of all, we're going to bring up Lucas's prediction.
Not bloody dead, mate. Come on. I've got the dice back as well. So.
Yeah, nice one. All right, so we'll bring up Lucas, and then we'll do the dice for us three after that.
So this is my prediction for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. They faced each other 2 times already at the Royal Rumble event, which I believe is a record for a non-Rumble match, I guess. Because obviously the Rumble pay-per-view doesn't usually have that many other matches that aren't the Rumble. They're currently one apiece, interestingly. Obviously, you had the one where it was with Chris Jericho in a shark cage that Owens won when he was Universal Champion. And then you had the weird Last Man Standing match a couple of years ago during the Thunderdome era where Roman Reigns was, of course, victorious. So I don't think that as over as Kevin Owens has re-gotten himself, and there was a lot of stuff about obviously when he signed or re-signed this current contract, and people might be reading too much into it, but I think he just loves being in the WWE. I've said this before, I think, on here. I think that people think that every time someone re-signs a contract because they're promised like a title run or a Rumble thing, whatever, but I think he genuinely just enjoys being part of the WWE. That's why he resigned. And I think, he loves the moments that he gets to do, like, at WrestleMania last year with Stone Cold, obviously, and then at the end of last year as well, he managed to team with John Cena, bringing his kind of WWE thing full circle. Anyway, in terms of this match, I don't think that we're going to see the end of this dominant bloodline reign, if you pardon the pun, happening. And so my prediction will have to be that Roman Reigns retains the championship.
Okay, there you go. So Lucas in early. He thinks Roman Reigns is going to retain the title here. I said a few more comments coming in, guys. Keep them coming. We're gonna get to them throughout the stream. We're gonna try not to jump all over the place too much. So we'll bring out certain comments when they're more relevant to the actual matches we're talking about. But much appreciated, guys. Again, if you're brand new here, thanks so much for coming and joining us. Please subscribe. And also, if you are a long-time viewer, thank you very much for coming back. We hope you're already subscribed there as well. Right. So Dan, do you want to bring your magic dice back?
Yeah, it's a bit weird though, because I have the thing in order normally. We're normally the other way around. So
oh yeah, of course. All right, I'll still take my 2. You still take the 1.
Cool.
Rob, was you 3 or 4?
Rob's 4. Normally 4.
All right, okay.
It's normally me on the left, you on the right.
Go on then, let's go.
Lucas. Right, cool. Let's do this. It is number 3.
Ah, Lucas. He has lost it. The only one.
All right, so Lucas, there we go.
I should have played it again.
I'll go. All right, I'll not.
Hang on. Yeah, go for it.
It would have been you anyway, Rob. Go on, Rob. Who's winning?
Anyone that's watched these streams in the past when Dan had the dice, it was loaded because I was always first. So nothing changes. You know, Dan comes back and then I get bullied into going first again.
Well, while we're doing that, we're leaving someone else alone, mate. So there we go.
Well, yeah, that is true. No, I think it's an easy answer. If we're now in a position where we're saying Roman's going on to Mania, or we're talking about Mania, Roman being the longest champion of all time at the moment in the current age, there is not a chance that Kevin Owens is getting them titles. So I think it should be a unanimous answer that Roman is leaving victorious, in my opinion. So I'd say Roman retains.
Nice and easy there, I guess. Yeah, so for me, I think this would have been a trickier one had it been, say, just for the WWE title. Then I would have been like, yeah, there's a chance that Owens could potentially win that, because obviously all the talk around WWE potentially splitting up the 2 titles. You know, I think Triple H is more a fan of having one main champion on each brand. Like, we've seen what's happening as well with the tag team titles, that they're trying to break those up or split those up as well. Sorry. And yeah, I mean, Roman did mention something quite interesting on Raw. If you haven't already seen that, go back. Scott and Rob, I believe, did a review of Raw's 30th anniversary. Raw is Triple X. Yeah, don't Google Triple X and Raw.
I said earlier, mate, I made that mistake already.
If you get that in the wrong order, then something NSFW will come up. There we go. I got the right word. I got the right phrase out there. But yeah, so as much as obviously we would love to say our boy Kevin Owens, who we got to speak to back a while ago. Obviously, got to get the old plugs in there. Of course,
he hasn't lost a step, has he, Rob?
No, not yet.
No, but yeah, and this was actually Lucas mentioned obviously Kevin re-signing. That was actually right before he re-signed. So, you know, little fun fact, peek behind the curtain. We were told don't ask him about the contract situation at the time. It was all still a little bit up in the air at the time, but obviously nowadays Kevin Owens obviously is Mr. WWE seemingly. So I digress. It's going to be, for me, I think 100% clearly Roman Reigns. He did mention about Sami having like one more chance to prove himself or something. I can't remember the exact thing he said.
He says he doesn't want to see him till Saturday, and yeah,
and something he said about on Raw, that Sami, like, oh, you got one more chance to like prove yourself kind of thing. So that for me could mean one of 2 things. The second one I'm going to hold on to, but the first one I think is basically going to be make sure Roman leaves as the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion of all of the WWE Universal World. So for me, yeah, I think Roman Reigns is going to be victorious in this one.
Okay, right. So, can you all hear me all right? I think I had a bit of a mic issue earlier on. We all good? We're all good and back, yeah?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, right. Before I get to mine, I'm going to quickly get to some of these comments here, just so they don't pile up a little bit. But we'll get in more depth on these guys later on when we actually talk about these matches themselves. But we've got Richard here saying, hope Bianca needs a legend to fix the damage control problems after Becky is injured last Monday. I'm guessing that's just storyline, right? On Raw, of course, she got taken out in the cage. As Dan said, we did a review of Raw earlier on, so if you hadn't had a chance yet, check that out after this one as well. And what else do we have? A few more comments here. Daniel as well says, have you seen Aaron Chalmers from Geordie Shore is fighting Floyd Mayweather? No. Wow. Floyd seems to be getting a payday wherever he can these days. So that's quite interesting, Daniel. Is Jimmy Uso really injured, do you think? Yeah, good point, Daniel. We mentioned this earlier on. Of course, they did throw up the X, as wrestling fans will know. That's usually a kind of peek behind the curtain. Listen, guys, this guy's actually injured and we need to get him out of there quickly. But judging by, as I said on the Raw review earlier on, it didn't seem genuine to me. So hopefully not, and hopefully it's the storyline, but we'll see how that goes, of course, with the Rumble. Richard also says, hope Wyatt and LA Knight ends with the Brood vibes and the Judgment Day vibes in the Pitch Black match. Okay, yeah, so the Pitch Black is going to be a good one to talk about later on, because I don't think anyone really knows what to expect. There could be kind of something interesting coming up there with, I guess, former stables. And also, Richard says, Undertaker, Wyatt, Alexa, Howdy, Bianca, Knight, and Fiend so far in a Wyatt 6 story. Okay, wow. Okay, yeah, good point. There's
by Knight, does he mean LA Knight? Yeah.
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 I think I've never done that before. Actually, I just realized I need to practice that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, all those guys have crossed over into the Bray thing, as we said on the Raw review earlier as well. Richard, I don't know if you managed to catch that, but if you do want to hear us go deeper on it, I'd hope you get to get the chance after this stream. But we were talking about how interesting it was that Undertaker done something with Wyatt. What did he whisper in the ear? And LA Knight, the heel babyface dynamic of that stable. Alexa straight up mentioning, and so did Bianca, the Howdy and Wyatt connections as well. So it's an interesting time for that storyline. And Daniel says, can't believe Sami and Jay hit the 1D. Yeah, we were loving it. Yeah. Right, let's get back to the match at hand, though, of course, with the Universal title. I think it's an easy one here, guys. There are a few times every now and then you think, could this be the moment? But for me, it's just not the case. As Lucas said in his video there, as over as Kevin Owens is, it's just not the time, is it? Surely we got 2 potential huge matches for Roman coming up with the title, so you don't need to take him off him. Although, me and Rob was having a bit of an argument, and I will say argument, on our stream earlier on about whether or not The Rock should be coming back and facing Roman. This would be a good chance to get the titles off of him so that Rock faced Roman without the titles at hand.
I'd accept that.
I get that. And I wouldn't mind Kevin Owens being super duper champion either. Right. With that in mind, let's move on to the next match at hand. Let me just get our clips ready, because of course our dear friend Lucas, I'm really making it sound like he's
wait, I was gonna say, is it not worth us maybe still doing the dice roll, and then so that we're not influenced by Lucas's thing?
Yeah, see, that's what because usually I just randomly throw it in. Go on, let's do that. Go on.
Cool. Right, so if it lands on, remember, number 1 is me, number 2 is Scott, 3 is Lucas, and 4 obviously will be Rob, because that's what the dice will probably end up on. So let's do this again. Wait, hang on, it's Royal Rumble. Why are we not counting this down?
We should do, really. Yeah.
Maybe do it for the Rumble matches, not for these. Yeah. All right, let's do this. It is number nothing. Number nothing. There we go. Some pitch black shenanigans. What number is it? There we go. Number 1. So that is yours truly. What match are we on? Pitch black.
Yeah, I think we will do the pitch black.
Cool. Pitch black. So, in all honesty, lads, I have not got the foggiest. What is going on with this one? Don't have a clue what the match is, but I'm just going to try and take an educated guess and say that Bray Wyatt is going to win this match. I don't think it does anything for the Bray Wyatt character to have him lose. I feel LA Knight can probably take, LA Knight, can take the loss a little bit more than Wyatt can, especially if they're bringing in obviously this new kind of character of Bray Wyatt and all the different You know, are we going to see Uncle Howdy? There's also Uncle Harper that they've trademarked, so it's potentially two different characters. Because the original Uncle Howdy had a different like style goatee mustache, goatee beard. Sorry, the one that initially came out to the other one, who many people are saying is Bo Dallas, and looks a lot like Bo Dallas, and probably is Bo Dallas.
Hopefully,
if you
I believe
just
that.
don't. Right, the thing is, don't believe everything.
Don't believe everything you read.
Fun fact for you, right? Lucas, obviously, he's not here, but his display picture thing on his iPad is of Bo Dallas going Bo Leave. So
is it?
Oh,
mate,
he's
Lucas
a Bo
just
Leaver.
gone up even further in my estimation. As am I. I might wear my Bo shirt for the Rumble build up or something like that.
PT,
And I'm the mark.
la la. But yeah, so yeah, and obviously what's going on with this like Alexa Bliss stuff as well. So I think they are really stacking the odds against LA Knight here. It seems like it's probably going to be LA Knight on his own against probably about 3 or 4 different versions of the Bray Wyatt character. Obviously, we saw the Firefly Funhouse last week on SmackDown, which is basically going through the kind of different eras of Bray Wyatt. So obviously Eater of Worlds Bray. Now we've got obviously Firefly Funhouse Bray. Are we going to see the Fiend this time, and then probably Crispy Fiend again at some point?
I hope not.
that was funny. But yeah, sorry, I could literally have just gone off on a bit more of a like waffly tangent there. But yeah, I'm going to go, I think, with Bray Wyatt purely for the fact that I don't think he should lose. And I just feel it damaged the character too much. Like they're just trying to repair the character, obviously bringing in this new thing, obviously from how he left previously. So yeah, Bray Wyatt for me.
Yeah, interesting points, because I think we're all in kind of agreement. I'd imagine that this is kind of a potential book themselves into a corner type situation, because we talked about a little bit on the previous streams and on the one earlier on, me and Rob, about Raw, where it's a danger for LA Knight. You know, this kind of heel face dynamic is confusing at times with it. LA Knight himself has only just got his character back. It's a real risky thing. But Bray, I could kind of see Bray losing because of Uncle Howdy.
Oh no.
Whereas there's got to be if LA Knight loses, he has to lose because he's not as good as Bray. Whereas if Bray loses, he loses because of storyline. So I could see that, because that's, you know, Unky Howdy.
Unky Howdy.
Unky Howdle clearly is kind of like playing tricks with Bray, and he took out Bray, didn't he, a few weeks ago? So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened again. But Bray losing clean to LA Knight, as clean as a pitch black match can be, whatever it is, isn't great, because yeah, Bray's still at risk. I think a lot of people kind of getting a bit bored, to be honest. So something storyline needs to happen. So because of that, and I also think LA Knight losing would be a bad idea to lose straight up. So unless it's because, and I do think we will get, because it's like, who knows what kind of match you're actually going to get. That's why it's so confusing to kind of predict. But I do think, like you say, Dan, we're probably going to get other elements of Bray and his character and stuff like that. Almost like a kind of 2020 era WWE match, you know. But what did they call them back then? Cinematic. That was it.
Yeah, so I was going to say, do you think it's going to be more like a cinematic thing, or is it going to be like a lot of like light play?
Yeah, and with the lights off and everyone's just got their phones out. Like, I could see both things. So
could it not be a play on? Do you know AEW has the lights out match?
Yeah,
when there is no rules and stuff like that. Like, could it? I don't know.
Well, to be honest, cost of living crisis, you know, save a few pennies to turn the lights off, isn't it?
I've had a few pitch black matches myself the past few weeks. Anyway, let's get down to business. I think it's gonna have to be, for me, I'm now going away. I would book it rather than, I guess, what I think will happen, because I think it's just so up in the air. So, and because of the way the table was and stuff like that, I guess I'll say LA Knight is gonna win. I won't bonus point it, but I do imagine it'll be something to do with some sort of shenanigans. But yeah, let's
I'm
get
putting
on
you down
to,
for LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, LA Knight. Yeah. Let's get on to Lucas and see who he is going for as well.
Okay, so in regards to this next match, which is the Mountain Dew Pitch Black, probably no rules, no ring, no fans, no bother, no will to live match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight.
He's keen.
It's one of those hard ones to predict what could happen because it's a match that is just made up, and it's made up for a sponsorship. Bringing a new flavour of Mountain Dew out or something, and so that's why this match exists. Like that one with the army, the zombies they had when they had the Army of the Dead promotion back in, I think that was like the last of the Thunderdome era events as well, I think. So, I mean, Bray Wyatt, he's not coming back after, obviously, 2 years almost. And, as much as I just think everything he's done since his return has been just nonsense, I'm not interested in this match at all. I think it's just going to be one of those weird ones where they're going to throw... There might be some cinematic elements as well. I guess we haven't really seen that be done since the pandemic era, the Thunderdome era, obviously. But yeah, I don't see Bray Wyatt losing this. I don't think it's going to do anything for either of them because it's just going to be awful. But yeah, prediction-wise, if I had to put a name down, I'm gonna go with the fact that I think that Bray Wyatt is going to win.
All right. So I don't know if you got the same vibe as I did, guys, but I don't think Lucas is looking forward to this one. But of course, he's going for a Bray Wyatt win. Rob, you're up.
I'm angry, man. I'm
What are you
angry.
angry about?
Do you know what? I expect better from Lucas moaning about the build for Bray when he lived through a time when the Ministry of Darkness, how long that took to finally discover who it was, who run over Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Both of those examples weren't great.
Yeah, but they were like 8 to 9 month build, and Bray come back 6 months ago, if that, right? And it's only been a slow build, and most of the time, the first part of the build was to do with it wasn't even in the damn building. Like it's only been since he's had this stuff with LA Knight that he's really built. Because before that, he was just coming out and talking. He didn't do anything. He was just talking cryptically. So we finally get him to do something, and everyone's moaning about nothing's happening. Like I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I mean, to me, I'm invested 100%. I mean, I'm enjoying it. My criticism is I don't want Bray to fall back into the habit whereas, let's say, because we started doing this podcast just during lockdown, right? 2020. If we'd have done this podcast 2 years before then, to 2018, any time that we predicted a Bray Wyatt match, we would 100% got points because every time he went into a feud, he'd look great in the feud, then lose the big match at the end. That was guaranteed. That was the problem with Bray. He was just destined to lose the big matches. So I hope they don't fall back in this pattern this time. So my thinking is Bray has to win to solidify what's happening. At the same time, if LA Knight wins because an interference happens with Bray, then it builds that. So I'm saying LA Knight wins, but it's because of disruptions and stuff like that. So I say LA Knight gets the victorious, or if he can win. But I don't think it'll be a clean win.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm booking it. So it heads that way, but it builds to something else.
So you are going for LA Knight to win?
I'm going for LA Knight to win, but I don't think...
Are you bonus pointing any sort of...
No. I'm just going LA,
so
LA
same
Knight
as
to
me.
win,
You think it probably... We both think the same thing, but we're not going to risk the bonus point.
Yeah, but I just... With this booking, you just don't know. I mean, if it was Vince, I would have 100% bonus point that because that seems right. But with Triple H now...
It'd be like Brock Lesnar will come out at the end and just F5
yeah, probably, yeah. It's just confusing between... It's a confusing match. It's confusing as far as the heel and face dynamic. It's confusing because they are both kind of fragile characters rebuilding. So it's a really hard one.
They've not told you nothing about the match either.
Yeah, nothing at all.
Had they said to you, okay, this match is going to be like the arena's going to be in pitch black. There's going to be like, the only light is going to come from like the screens or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
Of course, we still got
There's
SmackDown, but
literally
I doubt we're going to hear anything between. At time of recording, SmackDown hasn't happened. But I think you're right. I think it will still be the same. Who, by the way, I didn't see it. So who made the match? I'm guessing it was Bray.
Yeah.
It was Mr. Mountain Dew.
Yeah, Lucas ain't happy about that either.
Not great.
Do you think pitch black is the new flavour then?
It is? Yeah,
It is, yeah,
Is that the new flavour? Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Might have to try it. I had a big Mountain Dew phase a few years ago, so might have to give that one a go.
What if the loser has to get gunsed in pitch black Mountain Dew? What if that's the...
Yeah, but then he'd have to go, tastes lovely.
In that voice. Yeah.
What are we going to try and do? Like we're going to do like a Red Bull sugar-free match or something.
All right, enough of the branding, guys. Enough of the branding. Okay. So it looks like me and Rob both going for LA Knight, and the other two, Dan and Lucas, you're both going for Bray Wyatt. So, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, quickly going to get to some of these comments here before we move on to the next match. Daniel Wiley says, I think if the Usos do lose the titles to Kevin and Sami, they will lose to the 1D. Well, that'd be interesting. Yeah, because they don't exactly have a tag move of their own. So that's a good point, as far as I recall. Anyway, how do the Usos lose to Kevin and Sami by the 1D? Daniel Stevens saying the same thing, and that would be the best thing ever. We're going to have plenty of Usos and Kevin and Sami chat throughout the stream, I'm sure, guys. And of course, also on our build-up show, guys, if you're new here, you might not have heard about this before, but if you've been on our streams a few times before, you will know that every PLE, we do a build-up show on the night, just a few hours before, and get yourself and ourselves hyped up for the event. They're really fun, guys. That's not just me saying it, because, of course, I'm trying to plug our streams. Genuinely, they're some of the most fun streams that we do, because they're just so wild and frantic, especially for big events like the Rumble, when, there's breaking news and rumors flying about the place as well. So stick with us. Subscribe if you're new, and if you haven't already, come on, guys. Hit that red subscribe button. I think it's still red these days. Anyway, let's move on to the next match. Of course, we're talking about the women's title now, the Royal Women's title. And we're sticking with the theme of the spooky paranormal Bray Wyatt activity, because we've got a challenger of Alexa Bliss facing off against Bianca Belair. Great graphic, by the way. That's really cool. I like.
Why is there just why on the left-hand side is there just a floating head and a title belt and a pair of hands?
The camouflage. Right. That took me a while to get what you were saying there. I was like, is this a John Cena joke?
No, she literally nicked Lacey Evans' gear.
All right, camo. I get you. Oh, Lacey Evans could sharpen something here, because she's getting a lot of promo time lately, isn't she? But anyway, one of the many attempts at a repackage, it seems. Right. I'm going to load up the video for Lucas, but Dan, if you want to do the honors and shake what your mama gave you, or whoever it was that got you the dice.
Mr. Amazon, I think. Number one. So me again. That's bloody loaded, this dice. Okay, so Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss. Right. So this for me, it's tricky, because I feel as though Bianca is going to go into one of the top women's matches at WrestleMania. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Bianca is going to have to do that as a champion, because, for example, you could do Bianca Belair versus Ronda Rousey, which, say, on its own would be a big match. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch, which would be a big match. I think, for me, WWE needs to get out of the mentality of, like, the women can only have women's title matches on the PLEs, like, whereas the men will just have, one-on-one match, But yeah, anyway, so for this, it's really tricky, because part of me feels as though Alexa Bliss could do it because of all the spooky stuff. But I do think if Bliss is to win it, then it would be that she drops it pretty much at the next PLE, which I can't remember what it is after.
Surely Chamber, if they don't do a fast lane.
It'll probably be something. Oh no, it's Elimination Chamber. Yeah, because it's in Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone's saying about possibly Sami to win that, because it's in his hometown, pretty much. So that'll be right on the road to Rumble. So, okay, so that helps. That helps me now. So, my theory now is Alexa Bliss is going to win the women's championship from Bianca Belair. Go into the Elimination Chamber, And then it could be that multiple people kind of team up to eliminate her from the Elimination Chamber. So then obviously there'll be a new champion crowned at Elimination Chamber to head into Royal Rumble, to head into WrestleMania. That could well be where they just bounce it back to Bianca potentially. But yeah, with all the shenanigans that's going on with Alexa Bliss, I want to say Alexa Bliss, but then my head's telling me don't be stupid because it's most likely going to be Bianca Belair now. It's honestly not for me. It's not as straightforward as Bianca Belair is going to win, because of all the spooky stuff. Do you know what?
I like how you held your word there. Spooky stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Another word that began with S. But anyway, do you know what? I've literally I'm top of the thing anyway, top of the table anyway. I can risk losing.
Calm down, mate.
I think I can risk losing a point if I'm wrong, but I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss. I'm going Alexa Bliss, locking it in.
Locking it in. All right. That's me straight up now, right?
Yeah.
You know what, Dan? I'm gonna have to agree with you, mate. And it's not just a table thing because I'm
copying my answers, mate. We're back at school, mate.
Hey, keep that on the down low, mate. Come on. Yeah,
no maths, mate. Maths.
I think Alexa Bliss, just because I think, and I said it on the Raw stream earlier on. Again, this isn't a thing against Bianca Belair. I think she's fantastic. Again, when I interviewed her a couple of months back, I was telling her how much of a little fan I am of her work and stuff like that. You know, so it's not about her. It's just about the fact that with any title run, they can get stale after a while, and I think she's at risk of that. And I thought that a few months ago. I definitely think that now. It's always a shame. It's always difficult, like you say, Dan, with the road to WrestleMania. You know, she's surely going to be in a high-profile match, whether that's for a title or not, I don't know. But I think they had so much riding on Alexa before, and it just fizzled out. And now that you've got Bray back and they're doing something again, I wouldn't be surprised if they put the title on her to put her within that story again with the title, even if it was a strange thing where she, you know, in a trance brought Bray the title or something like that. You know, I could see scenarios like that, you know. So, yeah, because I said on the Survivor Series stream that me and Robert discussing, like, she's just not done anything for ages, and then all of a sudden she started getting the attention again because of the Bray situation. So, and we were debating that in that stream, was it a kind of situation where they'd kind of given up on her and it wasn't cool or nothing was going on anymore, or is it because something was about to happen? And I think it's now clear it's because something was about to happen. She was stepping into this feud with Bianca, which you could see as the typical Rumble kind of get you to the next point, get some Mania type feud. But I think they've just got a lot riding on Alexa. It was strange that she was the least important in the women's War Games matches, is the point we're making. Whereas I think it was all because they were about to do something with her, which I think is obviously the Bray stuff, but I think they'll be tempted to attach the title to that storyline, whatever it may be. So I'm going to go for Alexa Bliss on this one as well. With that in mind, I guess it's now time for Lucas to join us.
And now my prediction for the Raw Women's Championship match between champion Bianca Belair and challenger Alexa Bliss. It's always a bit odd when they have these championship matches on the event. I get why they do it, because it also helps kind of make the Rumble matches a bit more unpredictable. And I also get that they obviously need to have other content. That's not just a Rumble match. It can get a bit boring based on others too. And I've been tearing up this one all day, like thinking, you know, do they do a swerve here? Because there is going to be another pay-per-view, Chamber next month, where they could bounce the belt back if they wanted to. And I'm going to go on a limb, I think, just because of the leaderboard and because I think it's all just boring and samey. We all sit here and agree. I'm going to go with a new Raw Women's Champion in Alexa Bliss. I think Bianca...
They said that. We have agreed.
At that cusp of... We know she's great. She's phenomenal, you know. But I just think potentially she's going into the Charlotte Flair kind of treatment where people could get quite bored of her. And I think that a title change here would be good. I think particularly in front of a crowd, and it could kind of help the Women's Rumble become a bit more unpredictable. So yeah, I will go with new Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss.
There you go. Quickly before I give it back to you, Rob. Yeah, funny because of course these are pre-taped, so Lucas has no idea that we've just gone for Alexa, and he's trying to shake it up, and we've gone for Alexa as well. So Rob, will you be doing the same? But before I give you that opportunity, just want to mention as well, he mentioned that it will shake up the potential of the Rumble thing. Before we get there, guys, I ain't even thought about who's going to win the Women's Rumble. I have no idea. So that's why,
even though who's in it.
Loads of women. That's why in this match and all title matches at the Rumble, you're kind of always thinking about the Rumble. And if you've got a clear idea about it, it makes these a little bit more easier. But I've no clue. So that's why I'm all for changing it out, because I don't think whoever wins the Rumble needs to face Bianca, where sometimes you feel like that is the case. But anyway, on to you, Rob.
Yeah. So I was now you started, you can't stop, can you?
I know.
It's so addictive. So I was adamant that Alexa was winning
until we opened our mouths. Yeah.
Until you started talking, and now I'm thinking,
Thanks.
do you know what? Imagine if she overcomes the odds of Alexa, and then Alexa wins it at Elimination Chamber because of the Uncle Howdy stuff. Because last time on a promo on Raw just gone, she said she doesn't need anyone. So if she goes in it this way and says she doesn't need anyone, and she loses, then in
She
Elimination
accepts it
Chamber,
and-
she accepts it, and then she wins at Elimination Chamber, right?
Possibly,
so you reckon it's going to be like the opposite way around to how we're saying it? So we're saying like Alexa win it here,
Yeah.
and then Bianca win it back at the Chamber. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chamber.
So I think that makes more sense, because why would the Uncle Howdy stuff? I said it.
Yeah, because they. I think you're right, because they need to do stuff with Uncle Howdy, probably in the Bray stuff first.
Yeah, and then build up with Alexa
The
after.
thing is, we don't know what order the matches are going to go in as well.
But he's not going to turn up twice.
The thing is, though,
Unless he does and builds a whole stable in the night.
Because the thing is, because remember, there's still that Wyatt 6 thing. Could even be like not even factored in. Like we've seen her pop up in a few like women's segments as well. Nikki Cross as well. Obviously has the history with Alexa as well, doesn't she? So potentially something there, even. But
I don't.
Yeah, you got to go with your gut, mate. And
I'm going. Bianca retains.
Bianca Belair.
Yeah, man. I reckon
always,
it's going to happen.
Always got to be one different, isn't there?
Yeah.
Always one. Yeah.
Yourself in a pack, ain't you?
Yeah. All right.
All right. Let's move on then, guys. Let's move to the women's Royal Rumble match. We kind of touched on a few of the kind of elements just there, of course, as far as who they will go on to face. And basically, the gist is we don't know. So, with that in mind, let's figure out who the number one contender is going to be in the first of our two Royal Rumble matches. And let's talk about the women's Royal Rumble. So, Dan, if you do the honors.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Number 3. So
stop.
No.
Okay, here comes Lucas. For some reason, I've given him Shelton Benjamin's theme just because it's one I wanted to sing. Here we go, Lucas, with his prediction of the women's Royal Rumble.
We get to the Royal Rumble matches themselves, and I must admit that both fields are very, very unpredictable this year. Obviously, I don't really watch the weekly TVs as much, and I'm recording this, by the way, before Raw 30. So, if I do sound like an idiot because someone has announced a return on that episode, it's because I haven't watched it yet. So, in saying that, we can start with the women's Rumble match, as I believe that one will be on earlier on in the broadcast. And the men's will be the later one, as has been basically the tradition for the past few years. I think that it is completely open, and I honestly don't know, other than the fact that Charlotte Flair obviously has the SmackDown Women's Championship, and obviously is not having at present a title match on that show.
It's weird because he can't respond.
So I can only go on the fact that I think, obviously, previously that Alexa Bliss would be the Royal
we keep
Rumble
just making fun out of
champion,
him.
but I believe that will be bounced back or onto a new champion. The women's one's much harder to predict, in my opinion, because I feel very strongly there's only a handful of people who would ever kind of at the moment seem to win that match. They've had Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch and Bianca all already do it. And I mean, there is that thought in my mind of, okay, they could do Bianca losing the championship and then winning the Rumble. They are quite high on her, but I think that it would make the fans turn sour on her potentially. And I don't want that to happen to Bianca. With obviously the fact that we now know that Sasha Banks is now wrestling for New Japan, I think her return would have been a big one. But that's now not going to happen. Becky Lynch, they've done already. Can they return to that well? I don't know. I get a feeling the women's one is either going to be someone completely new or they're going to go left field with it. And by left field, I mean they're going to look to other avenues. So they're either going to look for an angle that they can do with it. So potentially 2 people winning. So they have to obviously sort that out before WrestleMania. Hopefully on Triple Threat I'm done with those. Or they're going to do something like Charlotte Flair enters the Rumble and wins it, and then obviously challenge for the Raw Women's Championship, so that they can have title for title that way. And I'm so close to locking it, and I'm this close. But then I also kind of think they might go for what I'm going to call legacy acts now, winning, because I think everyone's a Hall of Famer now, so it's not like it's anything too special. But I think essentially like an older star, because I'm looking at. I mean, we look at the careers obviously some of these older in the sense that they wrestled before, not their age, but
we're looking
at the fact that the women didn't get that many opportunities previously to do this Road to WrestleMania. They could look to do that with them now, because as shown, Lita can still wrestle, so can Trish. You've got to imagine Molly Holly. She was, she's always been solid. Something like Victoria. She's in the business for a long time. And I'm not ruling it out. And because I don't see anyone kind of on the main roster of women that I kind of think, oh yeah, they deserve it. Because even Rhea Ripley, she'd be a good shout for it, but I think she's doing her own thing with Judgment Day. I don't know if that's going to ever interlock, with this. I know she's keen to enter the men's Rumble, and I'll get to that later, but I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to go with my Charlotte Flair prediction, because I just think that is just the most kind of WWE thing to do. Let's just have someone who's A, already won it, B, holds the championship already, C, doesn't need to win it, but just because she can do it, she needs to be the first person to win 2 women's Rumbles. It's going to happen eventually to someone. And let's be real, if it's not Charlotte, it'll be Becky or Bianca or Bayley or the other kind of only 5 of the women that they think work there. So I will lock it in, as mad as it sounds, that Charlotte Flair will win the Women's Royal Rumble match.
So that's the thing, isn't it? In some ways, it does sound mad. In some ways, it's completely kind of something you could see happening. So yeah, I definitely get where Lucas is coming from there. But that does mean, Rob, you are up next.
It's all right. I already know my pick. Just before I say it though, wow. Do you know what it feels like when Lucas was on the screen and we were talking behind him? In Wayne's World when they keep talking behind over the person talking, it proper felt like that. But yeah, man. I mean, surely there's only one answer, and it's Liv Morgan. It makes sense.
Oh yeah,
push her back into that.
You guys
Liv
are
Morgan.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why you're both so set. Okay.
I'm 100%. Daniel, you thinking the same thing?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Crap. Oh wait, that's going before me. Great, you're all gonna give me good ideas. Go on, Rob, carry on.
But yeah, she lost the title. There's been a big build up. Since then, she's been going crazy. And I just think if she starts, I would love to see her start at number 1 or number 2, and then build from there. And then she's literally fighting for her life. So the whole build for this is her almost being eliminated and just about to go over, and she gets she finally gets it back, and then it's a nice build throughout the whole thing. Kind of how Becky did with the Money in the Bank which obviously she didn't win. I know why they've done that, and then Carmella won it. But yeah, I can't see anyone else doing it because it wouldn't make sense for Shayna Baszler to do it right now. Ronda Rousey, not a chance, because I think she'll be a part of it, but there's going to be, if anyone that goes in it right now that's a bigger name, they are then setting up for Mania. And if they're not setting up for Mania, they're setting up for Elimination Chamber. So for the core women to then go in for that title, whoever loses it. So I just think if it's Liv Morgan, she doesn't need to be a part of the Elimination Chamber, which then takes her out, which another woman can then go in. Or whoever does win it, that's how they'll play it. But for me, I think it's got to be Liv Morgan.
Going down.
So I echo what you're saying with, I think Liv will be probably starting out the Rumble. She'll probably be in there like at 1 or 2. But didn't they do that? Was it a couple of years ago with like they had both the Rumbles? They started really early and then went like basically I think. See, I mean, we're doing obviously most eliminations, first eliminated, longest time. So
yeah,
I mean,
you know what? Should we just hold off on that for the build-up show? Just because we haven't got Lucas's one anyway, and let's hold up. Yeah, and that's more things to predict on the build-up show. So I mean, so this one we'll just do.
But yeah, I mean, we'll obviously be doing that like now, obviously on the build-up show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, I think it's pretty cut and dry for me, really. It's 100% Stephanie McMahon, isn't it? It's got to be left the company and now it's got to be Rhea Ripley. 100% Rhea Ripley for me. Yeah, I think they're building her up like so much at the moment with this whole Judgment Day thing. Like she's pretty much like the head of Judgment Day.
Yeah, but like so not involved with the women's division though. That's why I think that's what I agree with Lucas on. But I get what you're saying though. Like,
because I think what they want to eventually do is have, say, the Judgment Day, because I know Triple H is quite high on his stables, isn't he? Because obviously part of 2 of probably the best stables in WWE history, in that DX and Evolution, pretty much. And obviously we're seeing what him obviously carrying on what Vince had started with, the Bloodline. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if, say, out of Elimination Chamber, potentially, you saw Judgment Day with some gold, you know, potentially, you know, Balor. Because I think the original plan, I'm not sure if it's for Rumble or Chamber, but there's rumors that they're going to do Rhea and Dom against, or Rhea and Balor against Edge and Beth Phoenix. That's been mooted as one of the matches. But yeah, for me, I think that Ripley is probably going to be, because obviously, as Lucas mentioned briefly, that, you know, she's talking about entering the men's Rumble. But I feel as though she's going to go into the women's one and going to totally, I honestly think she's going to come in like pretty late in that, have like quite a dominant display. Yeah, and I definitely think it's going to be her. I think it'll probably come down to, I'd say probably last 3 for me. What I'd like to see is them just literally go, okay, so Rhea's been obviously close before, but she's not won it. I'd like to see it be potentially, say, like Rhea, Liv, and then probably like Raquel Rodriguez or something as like the final 3. But yeah, for me, I'm fairly confident. I feel that it's going to be Rhea Ripley, and also I don't know. I'm not going to bonus point it, but I feel as though, because obviously she has this fixation with the number 13. I think she'll come out at number 13 and win it from number 13. So that's what we haven't done as well. We normally do like a random number, don't we?
Yeah, we'll sort all that. For the build-up show. But man, I was hoping you guys would help me, but I think it's just made it worse.
So I mean, good luck with that. So you can either copy Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Liv Morgan, or have one of your own. It's like one of them game shows, isn't it?
I think I
will.
Was it
blankety blank, isn't it? Where they like you can either follow what they're saying or pick one of your own.
You know who else would be interesting? The fact that she hasn't. No. Bailey. I think if I didn't go Liv, I would have gone Bailey.
Right. So before I get to Bayley, let's go with ones you've chosen. Right. So Lucas goes for Charlotte. My thing against Charlotte would be that she is the champ. so I think
Charlotte Flair.
it would be wild. So let's hope not. Although it would be an interesting
Tom's
storyline.
pick could be Charlotte.
Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate when they make it for the title, let alone if a person with a title goes into it and wins. Like I don't want that.
But then when that happens, you always get answers in a triple pinfall thing, and everything comes.
Oh yeah, of
makes
course,
sense after
that. Yeah. As
So,
in your house told us years ago. But anyway, point is, if I somewhat like that though, because Charlotte would be like it would be a reason to unify both. Well, she wants to get both titles. So, and if they're going in that boat down that road, even I don't know if they are. I don't know why I said if they're going in that boat. Right. Anyway, so Charlotte Flair. I'm not going with Charlotte Flair. Liv Morgan talking about boat. That ship has sailed. As far as the big moment, look, she can still be on top. Don't get me wrong. We flashed up the graphic earlier on from when I spoke to her, and she was the SmackDown Women's Champion. It was a great story, and she had a great run and stuff like that. I do feel that she's onto something interesting at the moment, but I just don't see her winning the Rumble. To me, should have happened last year when she was on fire. You know, it should have been about like she's finally done it, but they did that eventually. Annoyingly, it took long, but they did it with the Money in the Bank and then winning it that night as well. So for me, that ship has sailed as far as the meaningful big win, as far as helping her kind of storyline and helping her, you know, reach that brass ring. You know, so that is not my pick either. And then Dan's one, Rhea Ripley. Look, I get what you're saying, and any other year, I think I'd agree. But, and this is why this one's hard, because I just don't see so many people this year. It just doesn't fit anyone at the moment. Not knowing where the plan is, I can't see it, basically, is what I'm saying. I can't imagine a plan. So, Rhea, I'm not going to go with either because she's such a big part of the Judgment Day. You're right, but it's nothing to do with the women's division. I do think that in this match, you're going to get Beth Phoenix come out, and her and Rhea's going to go at it, and that will lead into their feud going into Chamber and potentially at Mania as well. Whether that becomes a tag then a singles, or singles then a tag, or two tags. I do think that we'll get a Beth Phoenix return at the Rumble, and because of that, I don't think Rhea can win it unless Rhea throws her out and then Rhea also wins it, but then that's two storylines that Rhea's getting involved in, so I don't see that either. So I'm going to actually go for the one that you said there, Rob, and that is Bayley. And don't worry, I didn't get it by you jumping in. I was thinking it already, and it was only because she's also someone that I don't see at the moment as in making sense. But as we said on our Raw recap, she and Damage Control kind of were on fire, and then they just stepped back for some reason. So I think
that's why.
Yeah, I think if she wins the Rumble, it will make sense, and she can go. Like, if anyone, like Lucas said earlier on about the main people that always get a chance. Let's be fair, and we're looking back on the last few years of who's won the Women's Rumble. Of course, the first one was Asuka, next one Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Ronda Rousey. That's another name. Again, I can see Ronda coming back, but hopefully doesn't win it. So for me, the missing name there, of course, two of them. One of them ain't in the company anymore, and that's Sasha.
Money.
That's money. And the other one is Bayley. So I think Bayley should win the Rumble at some point. And a few months ago, I would have said she should have had a rocket tied to her and she should have been on the top of the division. So I'm going to put those two things together and say that she should win it. The only thing that does hold me back is the fact that on Raw, they did that weird thing with the cage where it seems like the Becky thing is going to be continued. But I think Bianca could win. It's tough. Not Bianca, sorry. Bayley could win. But this feels like, oh, well, this is because Becky's going to throw her out and get her own back and all this stuff. But I think surely that can be continued into Chamber and Bayley will win. They'll have a few going into Chamber, but the Bayley will go into the world title in time for WrestleMania. Still not 100% confident in that pick, but I'm going to have to commit, boys. So for me, it is Bayley.
Do you know an outside pick that nobody's actually said, and I feel like it could be like a big return, like a number 30?
Okay.
Naomi.
No. I can't see her winning it. I can see a big return.
I reckon she'll return, but you know, it's going to be quite a.
Are we doing random ideas for people that are coming in, or should we leave that for the build-up?
We'll leave that for the build-up, I'd say. Another comment here from Richard. We need Beth Phoenix to reveal herself as Bianca's partner versus Damage Control. so that it can be better than the steel cage ripoff from yesterday's Raw. Yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment, wasn't it, Richard? We covered it earlier on our Raw review, but yeah, apparently seemed like they were running out of time. They either went for a 2-minute cage match or a kind of shenanigan type thing, and I think they probably went for the better thing out of the two options, but it was a shame, wasn't it? But yeah, we'll go into again on the build-up show, because by then we'll have more kind of an idea after SmackDown. There'll be a lot of rumors flying around, so it'll be interesting to do. Of course, if there are any that you want to mention in the men's one, because it influences your pick for the winner, then feel free if you do need to mention a return in person. But yeah, with that in mind, let's roll up that dice down and get ready for the men's rumble.
Right, I'm not going to do the countdown again, but you know the drill.
No, I like the countdown.
10,
Yeah.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There won't none. That turns out I'm AJ Styles. Right, okay. Oh, crap.
Is that your pick, yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to go next, guys. Can someone else go?
Even though he's had a broken ankle out for like months.
Oh, yeah, no, ain't AJ.
Nice. LA Knight, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now it comes into, and I'm going to try not to go too much into the whole Rock, Cody Rhodes.
Do you want to know who's been announced so far for men?
Go on, then, throw him in.
Yeah. Kofi, Santos, Escobar,
Why are you spoiling
Ricochet,
it for me?
Theory,
What?
Seth, Lashley, Corbin, Mysterio, Gunther, Cody, Omos, Drew, Sheamus, Strowman, and Karrion Kross.
Which Mysterio?
Ray. Sorry, I should have made that a bit more clear.
Okay. Right, I think I'm going to just say it quickly to get over and done with. I think Cody Rhodes is going to win. Now, I know the argument is that he could coming back. It seemed like he weren't going to win it, and that there'll be another surprise, and will The Rock come back and stuff like that. But I think he's winning it because, like we said, when Edge came back that year, the moment was the return. He didn't need to win it. And then when he won it the next year, that was annoying as well, as we say all the time, because, someone else could have won it. I do think, yeah, you could argue about Cody, but it's so part of the story. Him climbing his way back up is just perfect. So unless they come up with something more perfect, which I don't think is a word, then
Gets dictionary.
Perfect. I think the Cody storyline is the best one to go with. I do think there's a lot to talk about with The Rock, but we touched on that earlier on with the Raw recap, and I'm sure we'll do the same in the build up, and whether or not he does return, I'm sure we'll have so many things to go into when it comes to the recap and review if he does arrive at Royal Rumble. But for me, I think Cody Rhodes has been announced, and it's because he isn't gonna kind of let this bypass him. He's coming back to win it. But hold on, before I move on, because I did write some notes, and I hope I haven't forgotten it. The other night, about a week or two ago, actually, I couldn't sleep, and I wrote down my ideas for the Rumble. So let me see if I've just shot myself in the foot, and I go, crap, that was better. My idea at the time was that Sami was going to help prevent Cody from winning, but it doesn't work. So the Bloodline attacks Sami, and then The Rock saves Sami, but then Cody wins it, and Cody is also number one. That was my pick the other day. Now, the Rock thing and the Sami thing, I could still see happening, but it feels a little bit different now after Raw, and a little bit different now after a lot of the rumors with Rock and Austin and all that, because I do think if they were trying for Austin, it meant they might not have the Rock. Didn't buy into the whole Rock can't get ready in time, because we've known about it for years, so why wouldn't he? Yeah, I don't buy that one bit, but I do buy that it is possible that they couldn't get the contract sorted, and that's why they were going for Austin. But that could also be a red herring. So I'm not too sure about that. Not going to bonus point any of that, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cody was number one, and if we did have a situation where Sami's job, as Dan said earlier on, from Roman, his directive would be to stop Cody from winning or something like that, And again, I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock kind of gets involved somehow, but that's a lot of stuff to go on in one match, so I'm not sure if that is the case, but ultimately my actual pick is Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. Come on in, Lucas.
Oh, that's Lucas, ain't it? Yeah, sorry, I forgot for a second that I'm basically Lucas for a bit here. Here we go, Lucas.
So now we move on to the men's Royal Rumble match, which is harder, but it's not as hard as the women, in my opinion, because I think there are a few people that are up there for contention that could do it. And I think there's the big elephant in the room. And I'm actually kind of going to stay away from a lot of the dirt sheet kind of stuff and kind of go with kind of what I feel, what we've known for a long time. and the mixed thing. So my feeling is that Cody's announced return was intentional because he's not the surprise. I think that The Rock is the surprise, and they are trying to they put out stories saying like apparently he's not in shape, he can't get in shape for Mania, and they've got yada yada yada. But I don't know. I don't believe that. But then I also believe that they could be doing a double bluff here, where they're going, oh, we announced Cody, so now it makes everyone think, oh, he's not going to win then because, But then Cody is a stickler for tradition and for kind of the history books. And Triple H won the Royal Rumble in 2002, one of the best Rumbles they've ever done and he was an announced entrant, and he came out, got a big entrance, got his amazing fanfare when he eventually went on to win the match. That has Cody written all over it, that story. And if that is the story, I'm down for it, I'm invested, that'll be good going into WrestleMania. But I just think that we all know that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is just a star that has kind of eclipsed the entire business. And this is the last final chance for them to kind of get him to do one more thing for them, one more moment, one more, entertainment spectacle. And the thing is, I think, booking wise, at Mania, if we're going on if we're going on this belief, let's go down the route that he is maybe injured or whatever. He can't do a full match. I think it will be like a Rock Hogan kind of scenario where, Roman being the younger guy is leading this, say, older, but he's 50. It's blind blowing, The guy retired for the first time before he was even 30. But anyway, I just can't fathom any other kind of WrestleMania main event, and the fact that they're going to want to get that announced very, very soon, because tickets are selling well, but it's not sold out, and The Rock is a bum. The Rock is he's not a bum. The Rock is a guy who can get those bums and seats, and surely it's a stadium. Yeah. We assess other options, but I just don't see it. And I think you're going to end up overthinking yourself. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't want to overthink it and then still be wrong, because it's kind of like, what's the point? So between Rock and Cody, I don't see any kind of other person, though I'm willing to be surprised here. I don't see any other person. I don't think Seth's there where he needs to be. I think Lashley is in a different lane with what he's doing. There's no one really to be called up. There can't really be a big return, or I don't know. There's always the rumours obviously leading out of New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom and stuff, and the AEW contract situation. But everyone kind of is just assigned there, and I think even if someone wants to do this jump, it's going to be someone kind of smaller, kind of who would just go into the mid card. And yeah, I don't know. There's that push for Gunther. He's been featured quite a lot. Sheamus potentially, but I don't see it. I'm going to lock in. I'm sorry that it's taken quite a long time to get to here, because it's just something I said basically on the start. I think that The Rock is going to win the men's Royal Rumble match. I'm looking at him.
Wow.
The Rock.
There we go. So Lucas going for The Rock. I've gone for Cody. There's two most common ones coming up. Let's see how Rob plays it out as well. I do appreciate his Triple H reference as well, because I also was thinking, why have they ruined it and all that stuff? But I did start watching back Triple H's return, and again, that was in the Rumble run-up, so I could completely get what Lucas is saying there, that he's going to have a similar kind of run. So Rob, are you swayed?
Bumps, by the way.
Yeah, it's the best. It's, if not the best, one of the top three at least. But yeah, Rob, are you swayed by Lucas? Are you swayed by me? What are you thinking?
Am I swayed by the idea of The Rock coming back to the Rumble, winning it, and going against Roman Reigns? No.
All right, we had a big discussion about this earlier. We've got to wrap this up soon, Rob. Get on with it. All right, we'll have an argument on the build-up show if you want it again. All right.
If that, I'd rather Rhea Ripley win it than The Rock. And that's being honest.
All right,
mate.
Guys, if you want to see me and Rob go at it, check out our Raw review. But anyway, go on.
He's gonna say it's the Pebble that's gonna win it or something.
Do you know what? I really don't know, and I think the things that I'm questioning, Cody coming back. Would I love Cody to win it and go on to win the championship? 100%.
Yeah.
If The Rock has to come back, right, and win it, then what about the other guys? Like the Elimination Chamber, Roman. If that's going to happen, Roman has to lose one title in the Elimination Chamber. So, like, in a way, like, do you know what I mean? Something has to happen for him to lose it. So I just can't see it. And I mean, I don't understand how we're getting blinded by this idea of like The Rock's not in shape. Have you not seen the guy? Like,
I think it's match
ring
ready, though, isn't it? It's
yeah,
ring
rust.
rust.
Come on
He did get
now.
injured in his last run, to be fair. But yeah, I don't buy it. I think he's known. If he's in it, if he's doing it, it's been known for a while, or he would have at least been preparing just in case. So I don't buy that.
I don't buy
in
that.
shape and in ring shape, they say is two totally different things,
definitely.
kind of thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't buy that. I'm sorry, but I just don't buy the. Oh, he's not ready. I mean,
the only thing that's put me off
on
is
now.
the Austin rumors, but they could be red herrings. I actually think Austin could come out of the Rumble, but I just don't know if Austin would do that. But I think glass shattering after countdown. Could you imagine that? But hey, anything's possible after he's Kevin Owens.
Apparently, they originally pitched Austin 2 matches for Mania. One of them was Roman Reigns. One of them was Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. Oh my gosh.
Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
Wow. After the history, I get that, the whole walkout thing, but yeah. I don't know if that's
It'd have to fuse his neck again.
Yeah, scary. Scary.
So I really don't know. I think of all the matches that we've had to try and predict and stuff, and I don't know.
You've only got 30 people to choose from in this one as well, mate.
Yeah, but there's in the most politest way, there isn't anyone there right now that I'm looking at going, they could do that.
Yeah,
Like,
again, it's always you want
do
that next step, that brass ring, and it's annoying when I go for a clear-cut main eventer. But Cody's not been that in WWE, isn't it? You know, so the story is there. So that's why I think it's clearly Cody. Yeah, I just think it's Cody. What you think that puts against it? Yeah.
Yeah, because as Lucas said, if they double bluff it and they go, "Oh, it's Cody coming back, so he's not going to win," so that makes him he is going to win, then great. But at the same time, with Cody being such a babyface. Yeah, he has to be number one. Like he has to come out first. Yeah. And can they do that? Like a fan's going to be behind that. And let's say, for example, Cody comes out and that happens, and then Sami comes out.
Imagine Cody and Seth as 1 and 2.
Yeah, that'd be good because they're acting like they want to continue that, and I hope they don't. As much as I enjoy their chemistry and the matches together, it was Rumble, of course, in the last one. So yeah, hopefully we don't pick it back up. But if they want to explore it, let it be in the Rumble.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think of people. Randy Orton isn't around at the moment because of the back. That's not been announced, right? So that's a potential.
Not quite. I think Riddle could possibly return, but I don't think that he's in the kind of position to win it as he would have been this time last year or 6 months ago. So yeah, that's not really.
Do you know what? I know it's not going to happen, and I would rather lose points if I'm wrong because I like the idea of it being Cody.
Okay,
but I just can't see it, and I refuse to have it be The Rock as my prediction, right? Okay. And the fact that all of a sudden he's now the poster boy for 2K23. What if Cena comes out?
Well, wins the Rumble.
I mean, it goes on to like challenge Austin Theory at Mania for the US title or something.
Imagine.
Yeah, but what's that do for Cody? Like the only route for Cody then is the Chamber, which is possible. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah. All right, so the winner of the Chamber goes on to Mania. I would sooner take that than have the idea of The Rock going in and winning a Rumble.
Look, The Rock would be like the Edge one a few years ago in some ways for me, but like we said, doesn't need the title. But I get it. Like it's got to be Rock. I'd rather it was Cody. I wouldn't mind if it was Rock because I'd just be so happy to see him.
Who do you reckon it's going to be, Rob?
But come on,
do you know, just for the sake of it, I'm going Cena because I don't want The Rock. I don't want The Rock. I do not want The Rock. Like. I would rather anyone else. But the fact that he's now, if they're building this thing up,
I'd be so annoyed if it was Cena. I'm finally okay with Cena as a, but no, man, what a waste. That's just as bad as The Rock.
Yeah, but I would sooner Cena than The Rock. At least the Cena's going to turn up every week. What's The Rock?
Nah, come on, man. Don't be. Okay, I'm not getting caught into another argument. Dad.
Oh, as soon as Cena.
I mean, I preferred Cena winning it in 2008.
gosh.
Have you actually watched that, by the way?
No, I still haven't watched it. Again, running joke on the pod. You probably heard it a few times, but Dan ruined that for me, and I never ever watched that Rumble because I knew he won it. But yeah, anyway, go on, Dan. Ruin this one for me as well. Go on.
Right, so I love how everyone's talking about the return of Cody Rhodes, but there's one big return that nobody has yet mentioned.
The Boogeyman.
Okay.
To win the Royal Rumble.
Is this a joke? Go on.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Come on.
There's only one man that can do.
I'm locking that in, mate. You said it. We're locking that in.
And that's the chairman of the board, Vinnie Mac himself. No, in all seriousness, if I can be serious for a minute, I reckon so.
Lance Storm.
The advantage here of going last is obviously you get to hear everyone's things. But for me, so the way that I always tend to try and work these things, I always have in the back of my head my prediction going into it. Now, my prediction going into it has already been said by one of you.
Okay.
So, but I'm trying to think outside the box here. So, there's talk of the titles being split potentially. One of the Mania matches that they're thinking is triple threat, which is Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Cody for the WWE title.
Wow.
Which would then be Roman potentially versus The Rock for the Universal title. But then apparently the backup, if The Rock doesn't make it, is The Rock and Cody, and then Drew and Rollins on the other
Rock
side.
Versus
Cody versus Roman. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
So
that's really thrown off there. I was like, what?
I mean, another random out there pick could be Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Now, Sami Zayn, it's not beyond the realms of probability here, because imagine it comes down to say Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa as like the last two in the Rumble, and then say like Kevin Owens just comes out, like he doesn't want to do anything. Kevin Owens or something comes in, lobs out Solo Sikoa, meaning that Sami Zayn has won the Royal Rumble,
and he can't help it.
Yeah, and then Roman goes to him, look, there's no way that you're getting a shot on my title at WrestleMania. He's like, okay, but we'll do it at Elimination Chamber, or you can go into the chamber.
Yeah.
And then chamber, you have like, say, all of the bloodline or something in the chamber, potentially. Because obviously, I think it'd be more likely Sami would win something in Montreal than at Mania. See, the thing is, I was adamant that all day long, it's Cody Rhodes. Cody's winning the Rumble.
Right.
The whole Rock thing, controversial. I don't think Rock's showing up. I don't think he's there.
I don't
think he's going to be there at all.
It might be better for him to show up on Raw if he does come back. But
just don't
show
up. Rob!
What's that?
He's saying don't show up at all.
I reckon you're more likely to get a Stone than a Rock, to be honest.
Stone Cold, eh?
Yeah. Stone Cold, Steve Austin turning up in the Rumble would be pretty cool. The thing is, I think if Austin, and even that though, that's not like a really random out there prediction, is Austin winning it. But then it's a case of you're thinking, would he be able to take the bump over the top rope? But then
that's what I was wondering.
But then he got suplexed on a bloody.
But if he wins it, he doesn't have to, does he? He doesn't have to take the bump if he wins it. But how mad is that? That we're in 2023 saying that Stone Cold could win the Rumble, whereas like 2-3 years ago it was like, yo, I'll never come back, and now we're like, he could win. But then it's like,
but then you had like, was it WrestleMania 17? The only reason that Iron Sheik won the gimmick battle royal is because he couldn't take the bump over the top rope.
Oh yeah, apparently, yeah.
But so going back to looking at the field of people so far in the Rumble, can you just literally, put that back up for a second? Let me have a look here. So Lashley, so they put Lesnar on there. So I reckon keeping that up, that I reckon Lashley and Lesnar are going to have a match together. Kevin Owens, see now, I may be reading too much into this, but they've put Kevin Owens on there in like quite quite a prominent
yeah.
like size. Maybe it's because he's just got a big head, or maybe it is that that they're putting him on there. I can't really make out who that is next to Ricochet on the. Oh, it's the Miz,
Miz.
isn't it?
Miz,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
then
he
Austin
ain't gonna do
Theory
nothing.
underneath him.
Yeah, he ain't gonna do nothing. Austin Theory.
Yeah.
So yeah, I reckon it. Yeah. So I'm probably narrowing it down to probably Cody, Seth, Owens. Are probably
Owens ain't a bad shout, is he? Like,
because the thing is, you think Kevin. See, because it could even be a case of Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, the final three, for example. You're thinking, right? Okay, all Sami has to do is literally just get thrown out by Solo. It just takes Kevin Owens to kind of go to clothesline him. Sami ducks and like Solo's out the match.
You know what he could do as well? Kevin could be screwed by Sami, who is then destroyed by the guilt and helps Kevin win the Rumble. And that's
unless we get the two faces of Sami, so you get Sami Zayn and El Generico. El Generico wins it. But no. So let me think with my sensible head on. I think it's probably one that's never been on there, to be fair.
Yeah, this could be interesting.
With the sensible head on, I think Cody Rhodes is going to win.
Okay. That you pick?
Yeah, I'm probably going to say I'm like 90% sure The Rock's not going to be even at the Rumble.
Yeah. It's just the electricity, though. Like, they've used all the promo things.
But then
it's like it could recently as well. So check that out on this channel.
Could be the Undertaker though, because it's got it's got the smoke at the bottom. It's got the.
It could be 4.
The flames.
It could be 4.
Could be anyone.
Black Adam.
Yeah.
But anyway,
who else could it be? Lightning. The wrestler called like Lightning or something, or Thunder, Earthquake, Typhoon, one of them. I don't know. But I'm going to lock in Cody Rhodes. I think because for me, I think it's the most logical thing. If I'm honest, I would have liked it to be a surprise, Cody just coming in, like his music hitting. But then if they're saying, "Oh, we've got other surprises," they didn't necessarily say they've got bigger surprises. It was like they're happy with what they've got.
Yeah. Which everyone does assume it's going to be someone big like Rock.
Yeah, so
it might not be.
Being happy with what they've got, I feel as though that could be. It might not necessarily be a specific person, but it could be like unique spots in the Rumble. Because I know they did have a talent meeting where Triple H basically gave people an open like forum just to discuss ideas for the Rumble. Okay. Obviously, Shane McMahon was not present in that one because obviously he would have bogarted it and had himself beat up an actual UFC fighter. So, I think we'll probably see. Probably some of the returns. I think we'll probably see X-Pac in there. I reckon could be one. Possibly. Do you know another random name I heard people throw about that could be in it is Abyss because obviously he's one of the backstage producers.
Yeah, but that would be. It'd be very kind of like almost a favor because he's not. It's 5-10 years ago, I think. Yeah, but the audience barely remembered the Kid Rock theme song, and that happened in the WWE. You know what I mean? So I don't. Not that. Look, there'll be a lot of people there that would remember Abyss, but the fact is he never worked in WWE. So I would have seen this a few years ago. But
do you mean like the Kid Rock theme for the Undertaker thing?
Yeah.
It's probably because Kid Rock's forgettable. That's probably
okay, right.
They literally could have used Rolling or
the other one.
Yeah, damn walking.
Oh yeah, that would
like now that one.
Yeah, great tune. I think Riddle's the most likely return personally in the men's like as a surprise.
Do you know? Did you see the thing? Booker T said that he's ready as well for a return. Did you see that on his Instagram?
Yeah, I've heard a few people talk about that. Booker T.
William Regal, another one.
Regal, he can't be on TV though, can he? Apparently.
No, next year he can probably.
What about Santino? I'm not saying to win. Obviously, I know he's doing a thing with Impact, but
I don't think so. Just because he's just turned up to Impact. Yeah, if he hadn't done that, I think it could be a shout. I know Chris Masters is trying to kind of plug himself. It seemed, or people were trying to do it for him. I think he'd do a good shout. Matt, I do think that's possible. Actually,
no, I'm surprised nobody mentioned in the Women's Rumble Chelsea Green.
Yeah, I think she could return. I don't think she'd win it.
Yeah, she'd probably return.
The problem with that is, yes, we know she is, but people that haven't really got a clue, People are like, well, who's that? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have when it's the Rumble, you got to back the person. You know, if Gilbert come in, people are like, well, no, I'm all right. Do you know what I mean? Like, it has to
I
be
wouldn't put
someone
Chelsea Green on
huge.
Gilbert's level, but I get what you're trying to say.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be someone that people know. And like, oh, okay.
She wasn't around too long, and most of her big
which is
stuff
a shame.
happened to kind of fans in the know rather than WWE straight up fans. So
I think one of the biggest things that they did last year was they brought in a lot of the people they brought in had like generic theme song one, and like you didn't know who it was coming out until you saw the name.
We realized how
but
bad
even
the themes were.
But even like people in the that were actually in the arena were saying they heard the music, but you didn't know who it was until you saw the name pop up on the screen.
Yeah, there was a lot of strange entries and a lot of songs that had kind of recently changed and stuff like that.
You think
it wasn't
10, 15 years ago, as soon as someone like the first thing of someone's music, you knew who that person was. Like Austin, the Glass Shatter, you know it's Austin.
Yeah.
You know, If You Smelt, you know it's The Rock.
Yeah.
Wrestling has more than one royal family, you know it's Cody.
Yeah.
Whereas like you're getting da, 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 da. I was like, oh, who's that? Oh, that's I don't know, random
comes up.
Random. Oh, look, it's him! Yay!
Yeah. It did take away from it quite a lot last year, didn't it?
Mind you, I guess it was like kind of like the AJ Styles one, like when that first debuted. I think because people obviously
but that was in the time where people were most songs you would know, and that was like because we didn't know it, it was exciting. Whereas last year it was like I don't know loads of these songs because
these people. I'm not saying that AJ isn't established, but these people have been in NXT. AJ had left, and he was doing like New Japan, so he didn't have a song.
Even that they've changed the theme songs and that, like Braun Strowman's, like they've changed his. And I think the worst thing you can do is change someone's music a month before a Rumble. Or I think get the Rumble out of the way. If you want to change
they just changed Braun's song recently, then
I think when he came back, but I think they recently re-changed. I think even like Charlotte Flair's when she just come back.
Awful.
I like Charlotte.
I hate that new song. It's
good, Dad. I'm glad you're with me because me and Rob have been arguing about it already.
It's absolute
crap.
Dude.
I might end up liking it, but at the moment, I think it's rubbish.
It is doggy doo doo. It's about as doggy doo doo as their old man suit was on Raw. But yeah, anyway, so just to confirm, my lock-in is Cody Rhodes for that men's Royal Rumble.
All right, and on that note, you're talking about lock-in. I'm just going to show you. Our buddy Ronnie Storm will hopefully be joining us, of course, on the build-up show, guys. Again, if you are new here, you don't know what the build-up is about. On the night of a PLE, we get yourself and ourselves hyped up for the event as well. We'll touch on, as we said, extra predictions for the Rumble here. We're going to talk about most eliminations. We're going to talk about who's going to be the Rumble longest, who's getting eliminated first as well. And of course, a big part of this is all because of our predictions table. And of course, at the moment, Dan is on top with 34. Rob is on 32. Lucas on 31. I'm sadly trailing behind on 28. But hey,
Royal Rumble's the one where it can all
I've still got
change.
my old trophy, so it's all right. Exactly. It could all change
Mine's
here.
over there. It's got an egg in mine.
Okay.
Golden egg.
We will go into more kind of predictions for the Rumble on our build-up show, but we really do appreciate everyone that's joined us. If you joined us late here, guys, please kind of rewind and watch the start and see what you missed here on the stream. Of course, we've gone through every single match on the card so far, but if anything does get announced between now and SmackDown or just after SmackDown, then of course we will be back again, as we said, for the build-up show. We'll also predict those as well as those possible bonus points for the Rumble matches themselves. But either way, I've been Scott. This one over here has been Dan. That one down there has been Rob. Boys, have you got anything to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, can you just pop the graphic up for the build-up show again?
Yes.
Looks like Brock Lesnar is like just farted in a lift, or he's straight into the pit.
Yeah, they're all trying to sniff it out. Who did it? Bobby's the most annoyed about it.
Lesnar's got that face, you know, when you're like, ooh, really like trying to hold it.
And on that note, boys, it's been good talking wrestling. Rob, have you got anything to say? Maybe, smell related as well?
No, I'm good. Smell related.
Put some stank on it.
Nice, Austin. impression there, but of course we've been talking a lot about. I'm trying to make the segues as best as I can, guys. Talk about that Rock as well. If you want to hear us talking about the Rock's return at 2013, and maybe you get a bit of why Rob's not too keen on seeing him return this time round, then check out our Royal Rumble 2013 watch along, where of course he defeated CM Punk. Spoiler alert: it was 10 years ago, but it was a fun one to go back and watch, and it was a very interesting time because me and Rob dug deep into basically what was a very kind of transitional period and about to be a big time in WWE history, of course, with certain names popping up like Daniel Bryan and The Shield. Anyway, that's it.
Just one thing before we go. So we did actually say so I messaged Lucas earlier to say, like, who is your like most eliminations, first eliminated, longest time, etc. I've only just got a message back from him just saying Papa Shango for all.
Okay. All right. Well, we either lock them in or we give them another chance on the build up because we're going to have ours on there as well. But anyway, very big thank you to Dan and to Rob for joining us. Again, we covered the Raw is XXX or Raw 30th anniversary show earlier on today as well. So go back and check that out if you haven't already. We hope to see you back here for the build up show. We have been doing the predictions and preview. And of course, the day after the Rumble, we'll be back here for the recap and review. But once again, I've been Scott. This one's been Dan. The other one's been Rob. And the one that popped in and out every now and then was Lucas. And thank you all guys for watching. And we hope to see you on the next one. Cheers. Yeah.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.